Lola Albright. I will be playing the part of Constance Mackenzie until the return of Dorothy Malone.
Tonight starring Lola Albright as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
Fittingly, autumn has come with a sudden chill to Peyton Place. At 10 o'clock this morning, Rodney Harrington will be tried for the murder of Joe Chernak. The town, brooding and silent in the dawn, seems indifferent.
Timmy, Carson ain't paying you to sleep.
May I buy a paper from you?
Morning, Ron. Good morning. About 6 o'clock, eh?
So it is.
Care for a cup of coffee?
No, thanks.
No good walking around here by yourself.
Yes, I know.
Why don't you go up and talk to your son?
He's asleep.
Oh, I doubt it. Might do him good to know that you're walking around worrying about him.
Did your walking around worrying about Elliot do him any good?
I wasn't worrying in the right direction. I never believed he was innocent. My own son.
Why don't you come over to the inn and have a cup of coffee with me?
No, that fancy brew they make over there raises Cain with my old indigestion.
Well, I'll see you later then.
What's it say? 6 o'clock. I wish it was 6 next Christmas. Or we were in a nuclear submarine off the coast of Valley High or... Norman. You really had quite a night, didn't you? Or maybe in the salt mine in Siberia. No, I like Valley High better. They make movies there and stuff. Be a lot of fun, I think. Hey, you want some?
What?
Pizza.
How long have we had it?
4 days. It'll last 2 weeks.
What happened to those donuts I bought last night?
I ate them. They're only good when they're fresh. You sure you don't want some pizza? You know, I tried to feed it to the cat that hangs around by the drugstore. She wouldn't touch it.
Norman.
Huh?
Shut up.
Hey, Rod, if you loan me $1, I'll go get some donuts.
6 o'clock in the morning, nothing's open.
Well, the drive-in over in White River's open all night. It'll only take me 20 minutes. You nervous, Rod?
Knock it off, will you? Where are you going?
I'll be back in 20 minutes. Hey, you dumb kid. Don't you know it's illegal to drive barefooted?
Yes, hello? Lawrence?
Sorry you couldn't reach me tonight. I mean, last night.
Well, it must be 3 a.m. there.
Fine weekend. I just got back from Oakland.
The trial starts this morning. I thought you might have something.
A pair of sore feet. Dr. Gleason of the Foley Medical Center in Oakland is a top-notch man. Ditto the project for Miss Chernick, and ditto the medical center. Tobin in L.A. didn't like her much, but he couldn't complain about her work. Ditto Kelly in San Diego. They all say she kept to herself, and the few friends she had were younger.
Younger?
Not unusual, but I'll keep checking.
Call me if there's anything.
Well, you sound like a kid who dropped his sucker in the dirt.
Yeah, that about describes the way I feel.
Well, pick it up, wash it off, and listen to this. I was checking out her credit in the Swank stores in Los Angeles. She's got a double A1 credit rating, which means over $5,000 in the bank. A little much for our girl.
That sounds like a lead.
It's rough finding where people get money, Mr. Cord, and it takes time.
Look, Mr. Lawrence, we go to trial today.
Well, good luck.
Hello?
This is Martin Peyton.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Peyton.
I want to see you as soon as possible, Stephen. I'm well aware of the hour. It shouldn't take you too long to get here.
As soon as possible, Mr. Peyton.
And I want you to bring Leslie Harrington with you.
I'll ask Mr. Harrington to come. But if I'm unable to get him, I'll... Hello?
You seem to have been disconnected, Mr. Cord. May I place the call again?
No, I wasn't disconnected. I was hung up on.
Oh. Would there be anything else?
Now, tell Wanda to put on the coffee.
Elliot? Elliot?
Oh, hello, sweetheart.
You're up.
I didn't mean to wake you.
What are you sneaking off to?
I thought I'd run down to the paper.
So early? What time is it? 6, 7?
Something like that.
Oh. Morning.
You're morning yourself. Why don't you try and get back to sleep again?
What are you thinking?
I was thinking about a dark blue tie. And about a tweed jacket that got hot and scratchy before that day was over with. And it was a long day.
They were all long days. The days of your trial. That's why, when you wanted to send Allison away weeks ago, long before the accident, I wouldn't let you. Well, we couldn't know.
And whoever knows. And I wanted to marry you, and a jury made me wait 18 years. And now, starting today, another 12 strangers are going to determine Rodney's future. Oh, Connie, you feel so desperate. That sudden, terrible awareness that you have nothing to say about your own life.
I remember that day, too. I took a number 9 bus to Riverside Drive, and I walked along the river. And there were some young mothers sitting in the park, rocking their baby carriages and talking. And I tried to imagine what it would be like. You and me and the baby, if we had an apartment near the park, and I would get to know the young mothers, and we would wheel our babies together, and then we would hurry home to fix dinner for our husbands. It was a lovely dream, Elliot. It was so real that I was sure, I just knew that they had to find you innocent. And then the sun started to go down, and the young mothers left the park, and everybody else left except me. and some old people sitting on the benches, looking lonely. I had to wait to find out what happened until your trial was all over. And then my mother called me in. Huh?
And then we both began to really wait. Connie, I wish I could have spared you that.
You're certainly early. Oh, dawn patrol. I'm used to it. Oh, I'm not. Would you like some coffee? Oh, yes, thank you. I fell asleep at the desk. You've been working? Oh, I didn't get much done. Well, at least it took your mind off your problems. Yeah, that was the general idea. Too bad it didn't work. This must be very hard on you, Miss Chernak. It's hard on everyone involved. So many lives touched with sorrow, even tragedy. And yet there's no one you can blame. You can't honestly point the finger and say, there's the villain, any more than you can say they're totally innocent. I hope you don't mind my saying that. Well, you're entitled to your opinion, Miss Choate. I do understand how you feel. You lost your brother, just as I understand about Betty Anderson. I'd rather not talk about Betty Anderson. If you don't mind, I really would rather not talk about it at all. I'm sorry, Miss Chernak. Oh, don't be sorry. People like to talk about these things. It's exciting. It's like watching a play. If you're on the outside looking in, you're not a part of the action. In a way, I may be. Part of the action, I mean. I've received a jury summons. I'm to appear today for selection of the panel. Well, then. I'll see you in court. Yes. See you in court. Miss Mackenzie, wake up. Wake up. It's all right, Miss Mackenzie. No! Allison. Don't shut the door! Now, you're not to be worried at all. It's choked. And keep your appointment at 2 o'clock.
This is an emergency.
One moment.
Allison Mackenzie, she's very upset. I think it's hysteria.
I'll call you back.
I tried to calm her. I did everything I could, but she got so mad.
Call Dr. Rossi at once.
Dr. Rossi. Dr. Rossi. I had a terrible nightmare. I had a terrible nightmare.
Easy, easy now. Come on, come on. That's all over, huh? Wow. You want to tell me about it? All right.
But don't go away. Stay with me.
I was running along the sand
trying to go fast, but I couldn't. My feet kept sinking. There was sand everywhere, and hot. It was a desert. I was all alone. There were no houses or people or animals, except lizards. There were a lot of lizards. I kept stepping on them. Off in the distance in front of me, there was a boy. I had to catch up with him because I had to tell him something. It was terribly important, but I couldn't. So then I shouted, "Rodney," and he turned around. But he didn't have a face. Where his face should have been, it was smooth. It was flat, like a plate of skin. And then he turned around and ran off. I had to catch him because I can't remember, something to do with dying, death. I didn't feel sad, just lonely. And that's all.
Well, that was quite a dream.
Why Rodney?
Why do you think it was Rodney?
I was the only one that could help him. But I couldn't reach him. I couldn't stop him.
Sometimes some dreams indicate a disturbed or frustrated mind.
What would disturb me about Rodney Harrington? Why did I cry like that?
Now I think you better rest your old, weary, and cute noggin for a while. On doctor's orders, you don't worry about that dream anymore. You eat your breakfast, you try and relax, and I'll come by here. We'll talk again about it.
Okay.
In the living room, gentlemen. How'd you get him here, Stephen? Tell him I was dying? Sorry to disappoint you, Leslie, but I'm fit as a fiddle. I was sure you would be. What do you want? A truce. We can't bring our battle into the courtroom. We've got to have an armistice for the duration of the trial.
That's very interesting coming from you. I'll ask you again, what do you want?
I want us to sit down like rational human beings. Try to agree on a few things, for Rodney's sake.
Form a united front. I don't think that would be too convincing, with you doing everything you can to remind people of our differences.
I assume you're referring to the monument I intend to build for Catherine.
That's right. You can't annul our marriage posthumously by putting her maiden name on her memorial. Catherine was my wife. She bore my sons. I've accepted your personal feelings about the Harrington name. But when you vilify it at a time like this, you can't have any real concern for Rodney.
Right now, we've got to address ourselves to public opinion in that court.
And you have an 11th hour master plan.
Stephen has convinced me not to appear at the trial, for reasons that are obvious. It's just as obvious to me that you should stay away, too.
When that trial opens, I'm going to be there with my son.
If you'd been with him, but he needed a man's guidance, he might not be on trial. If you go into that courtroom now, you'll compound the damage you've done.
Good morning, Mr. Peyton. Come here, Stephen.
Leslie. I'm willing to make a bargain. I won't continue with the monument until the trial is over.
If I stay away from court.
That's good tactics. Tell him, Stephen.
I'm afraid I can't, Mr. Peyton.
What's that?
If I felt Mr. Harrington should absent himself from the trial, I would have told him so. Just as I did you. I think his presence will be a plus factor. The whole town knows he came all the way from Europe to stand beside Rodney.
And I only came from Boston. Is that it?
This is not a contest. We all want the same thing. Rodney's acquittal. Now, your idea about a united front is a very good one. But I'm afraid the means of achieving it lies in your hands.
All right. No monument until the trial is over. I don't expect you to trust my motives, Leslie. But that doesn't matter anymore. Rodney is all that matters. You have my hand on it. Ready?
Thank you, sir.
Morning, Rodney.
Good morning, Mr. Carson.
I thought you might like to join me in a cup of coffee. When I made it, there was no one around to applaud. And when I make coffee, I need an audience.
Sure.
Here you are. Cheers.
Cheers. You know, Mr. Carson, this wasn't necessary.
Well, I thought you deserved to taste the best.
Well, you know what I mean.
Do I?
I appreciate the gesture, but I'm ready for the trial. I don't need any more moral support.
All right. I guess an old man made a fool of himself, but it happens every day.
Now, don't you misunderstand me. I'm very grateful.
I know, but I bought that at the drugstore and it tastes terrible, so throw it out.
Mr. Carson, could you spare a few minutes?
Well, I'm here, ain't I?
Well, let's talk about, coffee.
Well, I hope you realize that this is a very subtle subject.
Is that right?
Yes. Now, the essence of coffee. No, I should say the essence of the preparation of coffee is a good woman that'll get up at the crack of dawn and make it for you.
Not much longer.
Not much longer.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
Mr. Devlin, do you mind telling me, what criminal case did you serve on?
Elizabeth Carson murder case.
You came here a stranger. Will you die here a stranger? Will you always be a spectator instead of, what is the word, Doctor, committed?